Hi, this is Miranda from My Scrappy Life and welcome back to my channel. This is another process video for Off the Board with pineapple papers, and I am using this sketch right here, and you will be seeing a double page spread. So just as an FYI, this half of this layout was done at Amy's, and then the other half is back at my normal setup at my house. And this is going to be the last video that you will see in that setup because I was able to get that many of them done through the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. Now, I did do some little bit off camera. I did a little bit of doodling and trying to get this set up as much as I possibly can. And now I am using paper that is pre-made from Vicki Bouton. And it's not that I didn't love this, and I know you guys are going to say, well, why did you cover this completely up? I just wanted some of this to show through, and I had 2 pages of it, and it worked out well for the amount of photos that I am going to put on this due to this little adventure that we had in Miami for one of the food places we went to go eat. Now, it does have stars, and in the layout or the sketch that I'm using has a ton of stars. I decided to emulate the stars with inside of this one with bubbles, and then also my butterflies does the string of stars that go across that looks like it's hand stitched. Because I don't have hand stitch, or because I didn't have my sewing machine obviously to keep going on this. So I decided to use the last bit of Nouveau drops on my page here before I left Amy's this for that weekend. Now I am just trying to get this completely set up and done. Now I did struggle with this because I should have put this piece down before. But I decided, I'm going to put my photos down and then not leave enough. And then forget to put the stuff behind it. So then here I go again. And I just struggled with this. This is one of the layouts that was towards the end of my trip. And before I had to start to drive home. And I struggled. And it's not because I didn't know what I was doing. I get tired. I was exhausted. And I did do a little bit of, like I said, I did a little bit of prep work before I started to film, only because this is a 2-page spread. I did do these little strips, but I wanted to get this particular photo correct. And I knew that I was going to have a lot of what's the best word I can do? Embellishments for this. And I wanted to make sure that quite a bit of this was kind of off camera first before I, get really into this. Now, here I go. I made a mistake. I should have left this particular one without the backing to it and then just did this one with the blue because I didn't have enough of this blue. And I do use that scrap up anyway in another layout. I use it as one of my scraps just as a background piece. But here I am, I'm placing this down. Now, this particular restaurant was kind of off the beaten path. Where our hotel was, we were only typical 20 minutes away from where the port was for our hotel for the night. And it was just that we came down the night before so that we could be able to not have to travel so hard to get to depart from on the cruise ship. So what I decided to do is that we went down the day before, and that's where you saw some of the stuff that we have done throughout this trip already was done on that day that we did. And this was the last thing that the second to the last thing, because I am doing a double page spread again for I think the 11th or the 13th, one of the 2 days. And going to do the last part of what we did in Miami before we got on the cruise ship. And this was the night before. So this area was of Spaniard infused. It was definitely owned by somebody that was definitely lived and raised in Spain, because the sangrias and the food was just, it was just perfect. So the first page of this is of my husband's drink and my sangria, and then I took a couple of shots of the background of what this building looks like and inside this restaurant, and oh my gosh, I could sit there. We could have probably sat there for a good while, but we wanted to get, because we did travel 8 hours to get here, and we were just kind of tired of being in the vehicle and just tired in general. And so obviously we catch an Uber back and forth because we don't drive. When we get to a place, we just Uber. We'll drive and then we'll catch Ubers from there on, because it's just, it works a lot easier. They know how to get to places and things like that, so I'm not too worried. We just, I mean, this place was just awesome. The atmosphere was great. The people were awesome when we were in there. Families came down, sat down. There was an older couple that sat right next to us that, were fun to listen to because they were hackling each other and this, that, and the other. I'm a people person, so I talked to them for a little bit. We were just chatting and whatnot. And then we ate dessert, and then we went back to the hotel. And that night, we actually watched chapter 1 of it, because it came out. And of course, I just finished I finished reading the book in January of 2019 because I wanted to make sure that I got that done again, because then I did the audio this time. I read the book and then I did the audio. And the audio, oh my God, it was perfect. And so when we were watching this video or the movie, I'm like, oh my God, this matches pretty well. So my title is going to be Best Friend Adventure, because obviously Josh is my best friend. And whatnot, so I figured this would be perfect. This is using some of the older Vicki Bouton stuff too, along with the new stuff of Let's Wander. As you can tell, I did off camera, I did do the dots and whatnot, and this is where we are now at my house. I'm back to my screen. Obviously, you couldn't even tell that I swapped, right? And now I'm just taking some of these here. I'm not quite sure which collections these were from. I think it's from the Wildflower and Honey and Wildflower, I think. And so I'm just placing these little bits and bobs. You'll see me kind of go back and forth on certain things. And I add some more butterflies. And as you can tell, that butterfly waves across. I just loved how that part turned out as well. And I do get my journaling down too. I just talk about different things about how I make my husband do just about anything and everything I want, whether he wants to or not. And just these little, just the little things about where we went to eat, how we liked it. I looked up on my Instagram page, obviously, to find these photos, to talk about Madrid, and that's the restaurant and whatnot. So here I am. I'm putting in the journaling. The journaling is in the star where I made it as my half circle. And I do get quite a bit of writing and journaling done on this one, just because I was working as we went. So I just decided to do it off camera to make sure it was done. I do come in with my gold splatters. Make sure that you check everything down below along with the pin. Obviously, you guys know that all of that is down. I am on the odds. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I would love to have you. I do upload normally between 2 to 3 times a week. I do design team layouts, collaborations like this, 12 by 12 layouts, single page spreads, double page spreads, traveler's notebooks. And I just kind of scrap just about anything and everything. Right now, you guys are seeing quite a bit of the same collection, but I'm trying to make sure that all my layouts are still unique, even though using these collections, because I'm trying to finish up the last trip here in the States that we have taken, because I still have to get some of the major trips that we did in Europe done. We went to Lake Constance 3 different times, and I would love to get those done this fall. Or maybe my castles. I may work on my castle trips or that trip. Not sure which yet. I have to I want my castles to be more of the fallish tones and the winter-ish tones of collections. And that's just what I would like to have on them. So I'm trying to build that up before I really dive into that. So I have a good amount of collections to work with, so then I can, knock them out of there and get them out of my stash. So here I am. I'm just placing little bits of stars everywhere to mimic that stars that were on the layout or on the sketch that I'm using. And I'm just placing little, flowers here and there. And then that is about it. The still shots are coming up. I do come in with my shimmers paints. It's the Sunset Vibes. You guys know that if that's what I'm going to use for gold. And lately here, I've just been using gold. Why? I don't know. I just have been. But yeah, so I'm going to leave you with that. The music is going to start playing. I hope that you guys are all staying safe. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.